Alright guys, this video is going to be a video in customizing figures. The materials and tools I used were these clippers, a couple of sculpting tools, green stuff, and some files. These are some round files, two of them are, and one is a flat file. I've never used this green stuff before. I've never customized a figure before. Since I had never customized figures before, I didn't want to mess up any good figures. So I had a box full of these older figures, and I decided to use these to customize. One of the two main materials that I use, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. Use my super glue, and I use this resin. It's called Laser Bond. They make another type, I don't know what it's called, but it's in a green. It's green, this part right here. And it uses, this one is broke, but it uses ultraviolet light to harden that resin. So those are I use that to fill in and to bond along with my super glue. Forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video. Alright, this is the other resin that I was telling you that I use. It's called Quick Fix. It's in the green container. Okay, so these are the three poses that I'm going to be customizing, and I'm going to be using parts, some of the parts off of those figures, mostly the hands and the heads. Okay, the first figure I'm going to be working with is this pose right here. I haven't finished any figures, customizing any yet, but I'll show you what I have done so far. Okay, so what I did with this figure, the first thing I would do, I would sand down the shoulder pads, because if you look at it, the shoulder pads connects with his neck. So I sand down the shoulder pads, I shape the arms. If you look at the arms on this player here, I shape the arms to what I wanted them to look like. And also I would shape the leg with my file. I was using filing around the calf to get a good shape on the calf, arms, and shoulders. after I got it filed down to what I wanted it to be, I started adding green stuff. And also, I put the head of one of these figures on this figure. I hadn't finished this figure yet. I have to finish sanding down the shoulder pads and filling in a few spots. I took my sandpaper and already smoothed this area out here. I have to go back over this with sandpaper, or a file, not sandpaper. And I haven't touched this side over here with the file. Alright, that's one pose that I worked on. Another pose is this guy right here. Okay, with this figure I hadn't got quite as far as I had with the other figure. But what I did with this one, sanded, I filed down the shoulder pads and I shaped the behind on it a little bit, and I put a new head on it, and I added green stuff. I've only got one side of this figure done. I have to put green stuff on this leg right here and file it down, then I'll be complete on this one. Okay, my third figure is this figure. I did the same thing on this figure. I filed down the shoulder pads, shaped the legs up a little bit, and I put a new head on it. And put green stuff on it. I've only completed half of it. Still have to add green stuff to the left leg and file it down to smooth it out. Okay, and fourth pose. Okay. All right. Form the shoulders. Put on a new head. And add the green stuff. Only completed half of this figure also. Still have to do the right leg. Alright, this is the same figure, but I raised that arm up and I raised the leg up. Still have some work to do on this figure also. Okay, and I also wanted to have different poses to come out of these four. So I customize. Okay. I bent this figure over. I'm gonna put green stuff and file all these figures, these new poses that I made. I just lowered them a little bit, bent them over. This one I gotta put hands on them. I use the hands of these figures put on the ones that don't have hands. I have a lot of figures that don't have hands, so I'm going to use those, but I bent this figure over. And this one, I put his left leg forward. On this one, the original figure had his right leg forward. And what I did, I just took the bottom off of that figure and put the top of that figure on the bottom of that figure. Got a couple. I just stood them straight up. Once I get the grain stuff on this guy, he'll look a lot better. I took on this one, I took a bent leg. See, that's a straight leg on this one. I took a bent leg off of another player, a bent left leg, and I put it on that player right there. And I put the right leg at the back, left leg pointing forward. It's the same figure. And that's just another figure that I put the left leg forward off of another figure. Those are the different poses I'm gonna make off of that figure. Alright. This figure, let's see. This figure here. Simply just bent him over. By the time I get green stuff and file these figures, they'll look pretty good, I think. I've only made, let's see, oh, here's another pose I made. I just twist the figure body around a little bit. So I hadn't mounted this figure, but just bend him over and put another head on him. This figure here, I just bend him over more. This last figure, let me see. Okay, this figure right here. This one I raise his arm up. Twisted his body around on this one. I might put hands on that figure. This one, just raise his hands up. This is another that I started on. I raised his hands up, one arm up. I never sculpted before, I never tried to customize a figure before, so all of this is off of trial and error. I twisted the body around on this one a little bit. Same with this one. Just twisted the body. No, I put a different bottom on him, I think. Yeah, and this one, the right leg is forward, and on the other one, the left leg is forward. This one I put 2 bent legs on it. This one got put a bent leg on the right leg from another player. And this last pose I made from that player is I bent him over and I put a bent leg from another player on this player, and instead of his right leg being forward, his right leg is facing backwards. It's at the rear. So those are some of the things I've been working on with this project. And eventually I'll get to all of the new poses and I'll complete these. And when I do, I'll make another video showing the results. So until then, later. Okay, on this one, I put a bent leg, left leg on from another player. And I twisted the body around a little bit. I put a new head on it. And I put the right leg at the back.